is up, fellow troubadours? Today we're digging into how I cover Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. It's one of the most iconic, emotional, and, let's be honest, brutally hard to sing songs of the 90s, especially in the original key. But still, I play it. Why? Because it connects. People love it. And for me, and maybe for you, pushing yourself vocally is where the real growth happens. So many singers, especially guitar players who sing, think their vocal range stops where the chest voice ends. But that's just not true. There's a whole transition zone, your mixed voice, that can be trained. The problem is most people either camp out in the safe zone or they white knuckle their way through the highs, and what you get is a performance that either feels flat or one that's very strained and anxious. And trust me, the audience picks up on that. This song forces you to explore that edge where your voice wants to grow, and that's what makes it such a worthwhile challenge. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I approach Iris, the tuning I use, how I handle the big vocal moments, and some techniques that might help you tackle this song or any other song that feels just a touch out of reach. Because with a little bit of focused work, there's no reason you can't do it. Before I start breaking this song down, if you'd like to support this channel, there are links below to my Patreon, or you could buy me a coffee or browse my Amazon affiliate links. And please hit that like and subscribe button. Also, there's a downloadable free PDF where you can get my entire song list. These are all the songs that I play at my solo acoustic gigs. And it's quite a big list, so make sure you get your copy of that for free. And if you'd like a private lesson or consultation, make sure to send me an email and ask me about the details, because we can set that up for you. All right, let's talk a bit about the tuning. First off, I do not use the original tuning from the record. Johnny Resnick has this very unique tuning for this song, and it's where he's tuned this string. It's G, G, D, G, B, D, and it allows him to kind of just strum the whole guitar. And it's this kind of, he could use one finger and play through the chords. But it sounds really great on the record, but in a live situation, it's not really practical. The strings get very, very loose, very, very floppy, and to just retune your guitar like that at a live gig doesn't really set us up well. So the way I tune the guitar is basically, it's a standard tuning, but the high E string I tune down to match the D string. And for this video, I have my whole guitar tuned down a whole step. Like for example, in the intro clip you heard, my guitar was tuned down a whole step, and I was singing the song a whole step lower than the original key, which is what I'll usually do at live gigs. That's my sweet spot for my voice. I'm going to keep the guitar tuned down a whole step so that I can walk you through some of the vocal examples without you having to stress out over these super high notes that the original version demands. And let's be real, most of us aren't really totally comfortable singing up there where Johnny Resnick performs a song, myself included. So I've got my guitar tuned down one whole step, and the high E string is tuned to match the D string. Now, when I start showing you the chords to make this lesson easier to follow, I'll put a capo on the 2nd fret, okay? This will bring the guitar like up to standard tuning, so that when I show you the chords, if your guitar is tuned standard, you could just go to the open position and mimic the chords that I'm showing you. I'll just play it in the 2nd fret with the capo on the 2nd fret so that the guitars sound the same. And then if you want to play along with the record, this would match what the record sounds like. Okay, and then we can just move the capo down when we want to start messing around with the vocals. All right, let's get into the chord shapes for this. Again, I'm capoed on the 2nd fret, which basically makes this guitar now tuned to standard tuning. So if I say 3rd fret, okay, I mean if you're in open position standard tuning, you'd be playing a G chord, let's say, 3rd fret. Okay, this is just so we're all on the same page. And this would be the key that the actual record is in. Now again, my high E string is tuned to match my D string. So the intro, this is the fingering. It's a B minor 7th chord. 1st finger, 5th string, 2nd fret. 2nd finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret. 3rd finger, 2nd string, 3rd fret. Right? So B minor 7th. Then the third finger comes down to the 2nd fret on the B string. Be like a B minor 9th. Back to B minor 7th. Then we just move to the G shape. But remember, our third finger is just going to stay on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And that top E string that's tuned down to D could just ring out the whole time. So intro. Now, in that G chord, if we want to mimic that melody that goes on in the dee 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 da 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 dee doo da. So let me show you what that sounds like. And all we're doing to get that melody is we're making this a G major 7th chord by putting our pinky on the 4th string, 4th fret. And then we can kind of pull out this melody. That's the 3rd string. And we just take that finger off and play the D string. So it sounds like this. I'm even taking that finger off and putting it back on. So, from the beginning. And I'd give up into the verse. And I'd give up to D. It's actually like a D 5th chord. There's no 3rd. We're just playing it like a D chord, but we're not putting our 2nd finger down anywhere. We're just letting that high E string, which is tuned down, ring out. And I'd give up, and it's got this down, 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 down. This 6/8 feel. And I'd give up forever. E minor 7th. So our first finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. 2nd finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. 3rd finger stays right where it is on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And I'd give up forever to touch you into our G shape. Because I know that, to that B minor 7th shape, know that you feel me. This is an A sus. I just bar it. I bar the 2 middle strings on the 2nd fret, or you can do it like that if you want. Right? I know that you feel me somehow. Back to the G. So, the pattern for the verse, very simple. D, E minor 7th, G, B minor 7th, A sus, G. Alright? Second half of the verse. You're the closest to heaven I've ever been, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all that just repeats. That is the verse section. Now, the chorus. The chorus section, and I don't want the world to see me. This is very high. I wouldn't even dare to sing it in the original key, but because it's essentially the same melody as the verse. Just an octave higher. It's amazing how this song is so good. So simple. The chord structure and even the melody, but it just works. Anyway, for the chorus, it just repeats the second half of the verse. That's the chord that changes. B minor 7th, A sus, G. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. And I don't want the world to see me. I ain't doing it. Maybe on my best day, if my voice is totally rested, I can get the notes out, but I'm not going to have full command of those notes. Just not where my voice lives. That essentially is the whole song, other than the bridge and solo section. At the end of this video, I'm going to get into those chord changes. But for now, I want to start showing you some examples of singing that song down in the lower key. I'm going to start moving this capo down. All right, so the capo is out of the picture here, all right? We have this guitar down a whole step. And I should say that you're definitely going to want to make sure your vocal is warmed up before you attempt to sing this. Definitely before you attempt to perform this song. You want to be warmed up. You want to be relaxed. So let's imagine now we're singing the verse. We're coming out of the first verse, getting ready for that first big chorus, right? So it's, and all I can taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your light. Sooner or later it's over. I just don't want to miss you tonight. Now notice what I'm doing here. This is the wrong thing to be doing. What we want to try to imagine ourselves doing before the big note is resetting, having our diaphragm filled with air, puffed out into our pelvis, right? And relaxing the neck, the jaw, everything, okay? We're almost like a reset before we go to that I don't want the world to see me. For a lot of us, that's high, me included, and this is with the guitar tuned down, okay? So, I just don't want to miss you tonight, and I don't want the world to see me. I'm starting from a place of relaxation before I go to that big note. If I start from here, from a place of tension, and I don't, no. We've got to start from a place of relaxation. And I want to figure out just how much energy do I need. Don't. See, I was tense there. The vocal cords didn't come together. Don't want the world to see me. A little bit better. I'm trying to use as little energy here as possible to get the chords to come together. Now, you probably hear the word world. World. World's a tough word to sing. It's got like a, I guess they call it a diphthong, where it, oh, that's a tough note to sing high. World. And then you got to pronounce the syllables at the end, the consonants, world. So what are some tricks we could use to make that difficult word, world, easier to sing? We could think of, instead of thinking of oh as the sound, we want to think of eh, where, or ah, where, wah, wah, ah. If we think of that vowel sound, well, it's a lot easier to hit that note. Well, if I think of eh, it's a lot easier to hit that note, okay? In that downloadable PDF, I will have some little cheat sheets of ways you could think of to pronounce that word properly, okay? Another thing to think about is coming into the world. You almost kind of could just gloss over the last part. We know what the word is, right? So in this scenario, I'm going to kind of sweep into the word, right? Make it a little easier to sing, and not worry so much about thinking about the ending consonants, but just thinking about getting to the vowel. And I don't want the world to see me. Just thinking about getting to the first note. World to see me. I might have exaggerated a little bit there, but you get the point. Play with it. Everybody is a little bit different. Every day is a little bit different, okay? You want to come into it relaxed. You want to find the right syllable, the right vowel sound that's going to make that note resonate, right? Get the chords connected so you feel confident, right? We don't want to be tense. And I don't want the world to see me. That could work. What if I want to go world, like pronounce it heavy? Let's see what we can do with that. And I don't want the world to see me. Maybe a little bit pushed, but my point here is to experiment Experiment with it. Know that the shape of these vowels and all these things are what's coming into play here. And it's not that, oh, I just can't sing it. No, you have to figure out how to approach it and practice that. Now, let's say I want to have a little more grit, a little more intensity. What could I do? And this kind of helps a lot when you're going to sing high notes. You're almost thinking about like as if you're crying, like that sound. You could even think of pushing your tongue like you're pronouncing right? Slightly crying sound. Let's try it again with that mindset. And when I think of the word world, I'm thinking of world to see me. Okay? Try not to push. Quite honestly, I'm not really doing it that successfully right now, but I'm willing to share that with you. Because these are the things we go through when we're struggling through a song that's a little bit tough to sing. And it has these tension points in it. You're going from singing to a verse to going in a complete octave higher. Frightening. Okay. Thinking about crying. And I don't want the world to see me. No, I don't think that they'd understand. Reset. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. A little bit better. I like the second half. World, still sounding weird. Sometimes what I'll do on world is I won't even think about moving to the world part. I'll just kind of say the first part, or even sometimes sweep into the note. Let's try it that way. Relaxed. And I don't want the world to see me, That could help. Another thing you want to concentrate on, don't push those too hard leading into world. You get yourself painted into a corner, so to speak. So if I'm like, and I don't want the world. And I don't want the world to see me. I'm almost thinking of the reset. Even though I'm still singing the words don't want the world, once I get to don't want I'm trying to almost think of a reset. If I could even take a space somewhere in there, I will. Like, let's say I'm having a particularly tough night singing. I'm tired. It's the end of the night. Maybe I just sang for 3 days in a row. To be honest with you, I was going to record this video yesterday. I didn't because the notes were just not coming out. I was tired. I had gigs 3 days before. I was having trouble warming up. I just was tired. And that's the reality of singing. Sometimes that's just the way it is. So let's try to do a reset right before the word world. Take a reset. Take a breath. Make sure we're relaxing our jaw, our throat. We want to deliver these high notes almost from a point of like a 0 point, a point of rest. Not from a point of building tension. Okay? Let's try it one more time. Trying to find a place to take a reset. It's going to be a challenge. Let's try it. And I don't want to miss you right now. And I don't want the world to see me. Reset. I don't think that they'd understand. Reset. When everything's made to be broken, everything's made. Sometimes if you just give your embouchure, for lack of a better word, E, think of the E, it'll help that note come out. It'll make it brighter, which can help it hit that note. If I'm like dark, everything's made, everything's made. It may help that note ring out better. Again, get that downloadable PDF which will help you discover some tricks and some kind of go-to notes that you could refer back to hit these difficult passages. All right, if you stuck around this far, good for you. I'm going to put the capo back on the 2nd fret, and I'm just going to go through the format of the song really, really quick. The interlude / bridge / solo section, which could be a little tricky. I'm going to show you how that goes, show you the chords that go along with it, and you pretty much have all the pieces for the format of the song. Okay. Also know that in between after the first chorus, you go back to that intro section. The fears that ain't coming. Know that. Okay. Then what happens after the 2nd chorus? We go into this interlude section, and I'll show you what it is right now. All right. So coming out of the 2nd chorus, my capo's back on the 2nd fret so that we sound like the record. Make believe this is the 1st position. Okay. Coming out of the 2nd chorus, we go to a part that sounds like this. All right, and all that is it's a down, 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 down. Still got that 6/8 feel. B minor 7th, A over C sharp, D. Then B minor 7th, A sus, G. So B minor 7th, A over C sharp, D for 2. B minor 7th, A sus, G for 2. Okay? Alright, that repeats. Then we go into what is almost like the intro part. Remember that? But it's with more syncopation, and it sounds like this. Okay, so that was the B minor 7th to the B minor 9th, back to the B minor 7th, to the G, then with the pinky. Same thing we did in the intro. So go back to the intro if you need to rework those chords, but it's done with more syncopation. Four times. Okay? 4 times. Then when it comes out of the 4th time, it goes to yet another pattern. G, D/F sharp. It's a different feel. Okay, the chords. G, D over F sharp. Back to G. B minor 7th. Back to G. D over F sharp. Back to B minor 7th. Then B minor 7th. A over C. D. E minor 7th. And I'll show you how that sounds. It's... Okay, let me play it in context. Then it goes back to G, D over F sharp. This time it goes right to the B minor 7th. And then that same thing. Then right into that same pattern that it did coming out of the chorus. B minor 7, A over C sharp, D. Then B minor 7. A sus, on the G, and I don't want the world to see me. Okay, that's all the pieces. Practice them with the record, and you'll be able to do them all in sync with the record. Okay, a lot of little pieces that you got to stick together. But once you know them all and you memorize where they go, it's not really that hard to play. But the main focus of this video was getting you to sing this song, and I hope I did that. Feel free to leave me any comments down in the comments section below, and if you need more help with your singing or your playing or your gigging or anything like that, send me an email and we could set something up. As always, I'm Frank Persico, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.